Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and thank you for joining us tonight. It's hard to reach your destination without a map, and even harder to achieve success if you do not know about your plan. If you do not have a plan, you don't know your mission or your vision. It gives me great pleasure to welcome and introduce Elton Brown, Distinguished Toastmaster, along with his panelists, Michelle Spear, Mohan Gunarajah, Sandra Thompson, and Bibi Annief, who will tell us more about the club success plan and the Distinguished Club program. Elton Brown has been a Toastmaster since 2009 and has held every role from Sergeant at Arms to District Director. Currently, Elton is the Quality Education Chair and supports the program quality directors by ensuring that quality education is provided to members across District 60. I can't remember if I introduced myself, so I'm Anita Pathak, one of your program quality director, and we have Chris Nelson, who is also one of your program quality director. And I know tonight, Chris will be your Zoom manager, and Elton, the virtual floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Anita, for the introduction. Much appreciated. We have 4 individuals that knows their stuff when it comes to planning for Toastmaster years. And this is something that's really important. I know that many a time when I've been at district events, club events, and the words Distinguished Toastmasters Club comes up, the crowd groans because they don't want to hear anything about this. They don't want to get anywhere near this. But in the long run, it really pays off when you have when you dialed in to your club and figured out exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are and move forward with those in order to come up with a plan that allows you to grow, your club to grow. So we're going to start right off with Michelle Spears. And Michelle has been a Toastmaster for 8 years. In this short time, she has served as area governor, division director, all club officer roles, and on various district committees. Her goals have been very focused, and through hard work and good leadership, she won the 2017-2018 Division Director of the Year awarded and the 2018-2019 Club President of the Year award. The common guide she used is used to achieve both of these outstanding awards was the Distinguished Club Program, ensuring that not only her club, but all clubs in the division kept their eyes focused on the success plan. We are looking forward to drawing on Michelle's experience in the trenches. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Spear.
If I can just interject briefly before we let Michelle get started, I will be acting as your moderator. If you have questions, please put them in the chat or use the raise hand feature. And if you want to send a question privately, you can do so to me directly.
Good. I'm glad we had this time to interject. One other interjection. The program tonight is broken down into 4 parts. And between each part, at the conclusion, you will have an opportunity to ask questions to the individual that just completed their segment. Michelle, it's all yours.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Think back to when you walked into your very first Toastmasters meeting. Were you warmly welcomed? Were you introduced to others? Did someone sit beside you and actually get to know you? Or were you invited in, told to get a seat, and then kind of left on your own? First impressions can make or break a club. First impressions can gauge a club's success. Now, if we've been in Toastmasters for a while and we've been in the same club for a little while, we tend to have blinders on when it comes to our club. We think we're doing well and we're satisfied with that. Or the club isn't doing well and we just can't figure out why we can't get more members. Or even worse, and I've been close to this one before, but we have all of our distinguished club points and we could be President's Distinguished, but we don't have enough members. And I'll tell you from experience, this is a heartbreaking position to be in, and you don't want to be there. Now, one of the tools that I like to use is Moments of Truth. And that's a workshop that's been designed by Toastmasters to help us remove our blinders and really see what a guest sees when they walk into our meeting. Moments of Truth helps us to lay the foundation for club success. Now, I know that some of you are saying that your club is fine and you're always distinguished. Good for you. Seriously, it's a great achievement. But there is always room to tweak things to make them even better. And it's not just about getting points and being distinguished, but it is about serving your members and making the Toastmasters experience the best possible for everyone. Now, Moments of Truth is usually a 1-hour workshop, and it can be, you can run it for an hour, or you can run it for the length of your entire meeting. How much effort and organization you put into it is up to you. Group work, exercises, skits, and other things can make it a really fun learning experience. Or it could be deadly, dull, and boring, which is how most people present it. And that's not how it should be done. If you're not making it fun and people aren't learning and people aren't engaged, why are you doing it? All the material is written for you. You don't have to make it up, which is a nice thing, but you can change it around. You can make it your own so that your personality shines through. Because sometimes, frankly, some of the Toastmasters materials are a little on the dry side. Don't be dry. Anyway, if you don't have time to run the full workshop for an entire meeting or even for an hour, there's a simple document that can be used. And Elton sent it out to everybody. Did everybody get it? Yeah, okay, perfect. So it is the Moments of Truth Club Quality Standards Evaluation. I've just got it pulled up on my other screen so that I can actually see this while I'm talking to you about it. So there are a couple of ways that you can use this sheet. You can pick one of the areas, so say first impressions, and work on that for a month and really develop those skills. Then the next month, you can pick a different area, say the program planning and meeting organization. While you're still working on the first area, the first impressions, and just continuing to develop those skills, you introduce some new skills in and you start working on that. And then the next month, you pick another one. You're not ignoring the first two that you've been doing. You're just continuing with those, but you're adding in more skills and more skills. And by the end of the 6 months, you should have all of this pretty well covered. Then you go back to the beginning and you tighten it up even more. Another way is to go to the sheet and pick one item from each area. So you're going to pick 6 different topics and work on it for 1 month. Then the next month you select another item from each of those areas and you add those into your skill development. And then you just keep going. There is a third way of using this sheet, and that's to go through each area and mark off the things that you do really, really well. Highlight them, put stars beside them, and celebrate those. But then you go through again and mark the ones that you don't do well or you don't do at all. And these are the skills that you're going to spend time developing. Have your members focus on those items. Pick two or three items for the ones that you need to improve a month for everybody to work on. With everyone pulling together to introduce and develop these new skills, the club is focused on success for its members as part of the Distinguished Club program. And because so much of it also has to deal with guests, you know, you're bringing them in. And what's really neat, if you do this and you have guests at your meeting, they're going to see that you are actually dedicated and focused on making the club better. And they'll know that it's an opportunity for improvement for everybody. Now, it is recommended that Moments of Truth be run once a month, or not once a month, once a year. I say twice a year, at least, because situations change, people change, you'll get new members, possibly current members will disappear into the ether. If you don't know where you are, you won't know where you're going. And if you don't know where you've been, how will you know when you get to where you want to be? So if you use Moments of Truth, you're setting a benchmark for success. It also gives you your starting point. This is where I am right now. This is where we want to be. And then in 6 months, you do it again and say, okay, so that's where we were. We've come this far. We have to work on this. And then we just have to get over to here. So use this as your benchmark and as your guide. A periodic review of your skills and habits will make them stronger. Now, there's the next handout that you got was goals to achieve. And I think Bibi is going to touch on this one a little bit later, but I just want to tie this into Moments of Truth. So Toastmasters has given 10 goals for each club that are divided into 4 areas: education, membership, training, and administration. And Moments of Truth covers each of these areas and sets you on the road to success as long as you're actually implementing what you're learning. For example, one of the goals is for the clubs to have 20 members or a net growth of 5 new members. By making the guests want to join the club and keeping your current members happy and engaged, you should have no problems getting your 20 members. And that's part of first impressions. It's part of the fellowship, the membership orientation, membership strength, program planning. All of that will contribute to that. If you start engaging with your members and tracking their achievements and finding out their personal goals, not only are you building relationships which help to keep your members engaged and active, but you're also working towards the education goal. If your members don't know what the targets are, they're not going to take aim. And if you don't set the standards for them, they don't know why or how it affects the club. Although Toastmasters is a personal journey, it really is very much a group effort. But you have to know what the goals are. And I think that's it for me. I think I covered everything for you, Elton.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I think it was quite concise. I do have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
And we're going to allow the audience, if they wish to ask you a few questions, to have at it. So my first question is, why is it essential for the club to perform the moments of truth before utilizing the DCPCSP?
Say that 5 times fast.
No, I can't do it.
Okay. Moments of Truth really is your starting point. It's if you're not working Moments of Truth, you're not going to be successful in the Distinguished Club program. And like you can use the DCP as your ultimate goal for the year. And that's what you should be looking at. But in order to get there, you need to start out with Moments of Truth. It's going to introduce you to the things that you need to start working on, start implementing, start activating within your club so that you can reach the DCP goals.
Okay, number 2, if the club happens to be short on time, what document can be used instead of the 1-hour workshop?
Okay.
How does it work? and what are the benefits?
Okay, so that's the moments of truth, the club quality standards evaluation that I gave you, and I gave you 3 different ways of using it. So either picking one of the 6 areas and implementing that one month and then working on another one the next month, or picking a couple from each one every month, or what was the third one? Anyway, I gave you the 3 ways that you could use it, and just start implementing things and building on your skills and building them, and you will be successful. You will get to your club, your distinguished club program, and you'll get those points. It's critical because this is the foundation of the success. This is what makes the club successful. There's the speeches, there's the leadership, absolutely. That's the personal journey, but in order for your club to be viable, for it to be successful, you need to start implementing what you've learned in moments of truth. And you really do need to run that through with your club, at least twice a year.
Last but not least, why is it essential that we perform this exercise annually?
Oh, I don't think it's annually, twice a year. Twice a year. You got to know where you're going to be. You got to know your start. You got to know where you are halfway, because you could be on a completely different tangent and not aiming where you need to be going. Do it twice a year. It doesn't take long.
Okay, so when do you want to, you say twice a year, so when should these exercises kick in?
I say July, August, as soon as the club officers have been trained, and then once again in January, just to refresh everybody after Christmas and after all the madness has gone away. Take them through it again, and you're good. Just aim for June.
Are there any questions from the audience that they would like to ask Michelle?
Anita, you know the answers.
Oh, no, I don't know. We learn every time, Michelle. I have a question for you. How are we going to deal with struggling clubs? How are we going to encourage them to do the moments of truth? Because struggling clubs, I would say they are between like 5 and 12 members. Yeah. What can we do to motivate them?
First of all, I'd get your area directors involved to help encourage them. If you want to run, an area director could actually run moments of truth for the clubs in their areas. Get feedback, get help, get support from everybody in your area, because together you're going to be stronger and you're going to build a better area and a better division. So you don't have to do things on your own. You don't have to be alone. You can also have somebody come in and facilitate it for you if you don't want to run it yourself. There's lots of people who can do that.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay, so we're going to move right on to our second panelist, and that's Mohan. And he joined Toastmasters in the fall of 2013. Currently is the Division D Director. Over the years has served in several club and district leadership roles. Club roles include Secretary, BP Membership, BP Public Relations, and Club President. And here's a list of his district leadership roles. He was Area Director 2016 to 2017, again in 2017 to 2018, the Division Director 2019 to 2020, the Alignment Chair in the year 2018, and the recipient of the 2018 Area Director of the Year Award. It's all yours, Mohan.
Thank you, Elton. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. So carry on from what Michelle told us about the moments of truth. The next important thing which we all club officers need to take into account is the club success plan. Earning recognition of a club is not something anybody can accomplish on their own. It takes a team of people dedicated to a common goal, having a plan and executing it properly. They share a responsibility for the task and depends on one another to achieve this task. There's a very famous saying that there's no I in the word team. So there's always a team of members. A club executive team comprises of 7 officers and includes also the immediate past president, who will develop a success plan at the beginning of their term. Generally speaking, the club success plan should be created before July 1st. As we all know, the Toastmaster year starts July the 1st and goes up to June the 30th. So essentially, with the help of the outgoing executives, you meet up and start discussing your success plan. The plan is based on the needs and goals of each club member. So the other thing which the executive should do is also send out a questionnaire to all your club members to find out what are the goals for the year. So once you get the feedback from your members, you can start planning out your success plan. And how, like Michelle mentioned about the moments of truth and how we get points. So the club success plans does work out on what is in the moments of truth. While creating the club success plan, the first thing officers need to do is how they will communicate among themselves, address conflicts, and hold themselves accountable. Your area director would have sent you your leadership handbook, and inside your leadership handbooks for all the club officers will be your club success plan. Please have a look at the club success plan and review it. Even if you haven't done it, do it now. It's never too late. We still have time. We're only on our the third month of our Toastmaster year, so there's still time to catch up. Secondly, club officers should also evaluate current situation, establish specific goals, and develop strategies that can be used to achieve success. To help club officers in that effort, the plan should identify helpful resources. And if you go to the District 60's website, there's a whole bunch of resources. Toastmasters International has got tons of resources. So, and also you can always reach out to your area director for assistance. Finally, the plan should call for club officers to identify assignments, develop a timetable, and track accomplishments. The club executive committee determines what the club would like to accomplish this year and the years to come. So your club success plan is only not for this year. You should also be looking forward for the following years to see what you need to do and how are you going to motivate your members to achieve the club's success. The vision should be both attainable and inspiring so that other club members are motivated to get involved and help the committee's effort. So when you make a plan, make sure it's motivated and get buy-in from all your club members. Once the vision is recorded, the club officers will determine who will take the roles and the responsibilities for each member. Are the skills and talents of some members a great fit for certain tasks? So ask questions of your members and see who's fit for the specific roles you need done for you to be successful for the Toastmaster year and the years going ahead. The club success plan includes all members necessary to achieve your club goals. What, how, who, and when. Determine in advance what should be done and when and how it's going to be accomplished and who is responsible for doing it to making it achievable. So when you first have your first meeting as an executive committee meeting, there's certain things you need to have in your agenda. The first thing is you need to set a specific goal. Establish strategies to achieve the goal. Develop a framework to help carry out the plan and produce results. Club officers should also review the success plan and amend it accordingly so that you meet your successful goals. And you also should have good communication with your club executives because this is key to have proper communication among your executives, and also make sure that you also look at the dashboard to see how your club is progressing over the months. To assist club officers in their responsibilities, club officers should also attend the 2 district-sponsored training sessions. We just concluded our first round of training sessions. The second round is going to be between November and February of next year. So I would encourage all club officers to attend meeting, and also encourage those who are thinking of running for office next year to attend the meeting so they know what they need to be done so that the clubs are becoming very successful. The club's success is also very critical for the area, district, and division and the district. So if your club members are successful, your club becomes successful. When your club becomes successful, your area becomes successful, and then the area becomes, then with that, the division, and then the district. And I'm sure most of you have seen club banners where there's tons and tons of ribbons hanging from them to show that the clubs have been successful, and they get ribbons when you're successful. So now let's look at the district's recognition program. The district's recognition program serves as a starting point for the district recognition program, which encompasses the distinguished area, division, and the district program. These goals are based on the distinguished clubs. So one of the things which you will have is also your area directors visit. The area directors visit is, the area directors in particular serves as the liaison between your club and the district. Your area director will visit you all officially twice in a year, but sometimes area directors do visit your clubs more than twice, especially now with Zoom. I'm sure a lot of area directors are visiting clubs more often to see how and get a feel of your club. During these visits, the area director will ask you, during the official visits, I mean, the area director will ask you to show him or her your club success plan, and you should be prepared to show and discuss the plan, and to also show your area director how you're progressing. The area director can also help you to meet your goals. If you're lacking on certain goals, he or she will be able to help you. And as Michelle had mentioned earlier on, you can always ask your area director to assist you with your moments of truth, because they all have been trained of how to run a moments of truth workshop. Clubs are also, I'm going to repeat what Michelle also said, clubs are encouraged to run moments of truth. Michelle says run it twice a year, which is great. This year, our district has been great to all of us. If we are to submit our success plan to our area director before the 30th of September, each club will get a Toastmasters word of the day pack. So who doesn't like free gifts? I'm sure everybody likes free gifts. So get your success plan created, give it to your area director, and get your word of the day pack for your members to use. Some of the things we need to talk about the club success plan is your team composition. So basically, I already mentioned earlier on, it's going to be your 7 members, your president, VP education, VP membership, and also includes your past president. So get your past president involved, because he or she knows what happened the previous year and can bring forward all the information and all the knowledge which was gained. You need to establish the core values. Toastmasters International's core value is integrity, respect, service, and excellence. These values should be incorporated as anchor points in every discussions made at all levels within the organization. Toastmasters core values provides a means of guiding and evaluating the organization's operation, planning, and envisioning the future. So how will the club executive committee keep your values? The team operating principles are basically to hold your meetings, your committee meetings regularly, discuss potential obstacles, set your meeting protocols, and how will team react, and also how will decisions be made. When the executives also need to determine how you're going to communicate, and whether you're going to be by in-person meetings, by emails, conference calls, or whatever the case may be. So it's key that all executives meet at least once a month, so that you can have a successful year for your Toastmasters. So the other important thing is how you need to discuss is how will you resolve any differences in opinion. So this has got to be set at the very beginning, so that towards the year there's no displeasure between your officers. And then you also need to make sure that how will you hold your executives responsible, because each officer in your executive committee has got a responsibility. The VP education responsibility to make sure that everybody gets opportunity to speak. The treasurer's responsibility to make sure that the dues are collected and paid into TI at the appropriate time. Your sergeant at arms responsibility to make sure that he or she, if you're meeting in person, to make sure that they have a room or the supplies are there, set up the room. And it goes with VP membership to drive new members, get new members, VP PR to make sure that he or she is advertising and promoting your club. So everybody should be held accountable, and you should have timelines for them to meet their specific goals. And with that, Mr. Brown, I'm done.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for being quite informative. And I do have a few questions to ask you before I open it up to the to our participants.
Sure.
And one of them happens to be, how are newly chartered clubs held accountable?
So newly chartered clubs should maintain a base of 20 members. So from the time they charter, they should still maintain a base of 20 members. So you need 20 members to charter your club. And this base does not include any transfer of memberships, will not be counted towards the base. So it's key that you maintain a 20 members.
Okay. Where can we find a report that gives us our club's performance?
Oh, fantastic question. So every day, Toastmasters International will update your website. The website is www.org Distinguished Performance Report. And over there, you can go and select District 60, select which division or which division your club is located, and then from there you can check and see how your club is doing. And I think Bibi will show you all part of the dashboard a bit later in his presentation. And at the beginning of every month, World Headquarters will process the previous month's data and update the dashboard to reflect what has happened in the prior months as well.
Excellent. So what team prepares the DCPCSP, and who provides the educational status and projections of the club?
So as I mentioned earlier on, the club executive committee, which comprises of the 7 officers and immediate past president, will develop the success plan. The plan will be based on the goals and needs of every club member. And so with that, they need to project, like have a calendar and project what's going to happen over the course of the year from July 1st to 30th of June.
All righty. One last question. What should be on the agenda for the DCPCSP meeting, and who creates it, and who should be in attendance?
So the first thing they need to do for the agenda is going to be set up specific goals, establish strategies to achieve the goals, and also develop a framework to help them carry out the plan and produce results. And who creates it? It will be the executive committee, 7 members of the executive committee with the help of the past president. And I have mentioned earlier on is when we create that, try to ask the past president to show the current committee members their previous success plan, so they can gauge from what they did good, what they didn't do so well, and they can implement changes to make sure that the club is successful for this coming year.
Perfect. And at this point, I'd like to open the floor for any questions from it. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask Mohan? Don't be shy. I say torture him. I say make those gears, grind. Come on, ask him a question.
Anita.
I don't have a question. It's only a comment. Just wanted to let everyone know that at the last deck meeting, we spoke about the big three. Big three. What are the big three? It's the moments of truth, the club success plan, and the distinguished club program. These 3 pillars, for me, these are the foundation for a successful club, a quality club. So if we use all of those 3 tools, I don't see why a club won't be successful. Of course, we will have to put everything in, give everything to make that club successful, but always remember the big 3. It's really important. Share it with your members, with your club officers, and let's focus on it every time and mainly now.
Anita,
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt here. I know there's a couple of people on who are not veterans of Toastmasters. What does DEC mean?
Oh, District Executive Committee. The District Executive Committee consists of all division directors, area directors, and of course the district director, club group director, program quality director, and the public relations manager and the admin manager.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. I don't know why I always think that I take it for granted. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just one thing before Elton gets back online is if you go to your chat box, Anita was kind enough to give us the link for the dashboard. So those who do not know where to find the link, please go to the dashboard, to the chat box. Thanks, Anita, for that link.
Thank you, Anita.
That's okay.
Any questions from the floor? You guys are so quiet. Oh my God. I thought we would be fighting.
We got one there. Swan.
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name's Swan from Speak Up Centennial, and this is the first time I take the role as the VB Education. So could you give me some advice as how I can greet the new member when they come, because now in our club all the meeting it become virtual and it really kind of difficult to get more engaged in the club meeting.
Okay, what's the name of the club there, Swan?
Speak Up Centennial.
Okay, what I can do is I can send you a sample questionnaire which you can use to give your members of your club, and we can go from there because there's quite a bit of questions they need to answer.
There's, I'm just going to jump in here too. To help get people in, try and have at least 10 to 15 minutes before your actual meeting starts where you can spend time talking to people. So as guests come in, get to know them, and everybody's going to be listening so everybody can ask questions, and just really encourage your members to befriend, to speak to the guests, make sure you get their email addresses, you know, and just try and build relationships, and that'll help build your membership.
Whatever you do, do not let the guests sit by themselves. I've been to several clubs when I was district director where the guests sat on one side of the room, yep, and the members sat on the other. Guess how many of those guests came back? None, because they didn't feel welcome. They weren't included. So going right back to what Michelle was saying, you want to get them in there. You want to make sure that they're feeling warm and fuzzy and that they'll want to come back. Because first of all, it doesn't really matter about your club. If they don't like you, they're not going to come back. So the first thing that you have to do is to put them in a position, or put yourselves in a position to be liked. Are there any other questions that out there on the floor before we move to our next panelist?
Yes, hello. Not a question. Hi, I would like to ask Mohan to please also send the questionnaire to me as well, Voice of Centennial, so that I could use it in the club. Thank you. And
no problem.
To what Elton and Michelle said, we've been trying to make our guests welcome when they come, but sometimes again, because our members, you find out that every week not the same members come for meetings. So as our guests are coming in, we're having new guests. I'm having different members that are coming in, and sometimes, like last week's meeting, we had just myself, 2 other club officers, and 2 other members that were in it. We had over 7 to 8 guests. So our guests were, when they came in, we were trying to just engage them and all. And we all just introduced ourselves. Okay, these are the club executives. And some of the guests, someone said to me, oh, how many are we and all. So sometimes even the members, due to this whole situation, some of the members are still not so comfortable with going online, seeing the fact that almost everything now is online, and for Toastmasters that they're supposed to be kind of relaxed in and all, they're just they're just so laid back. So I don't know, but yeah, we're going to try.
Do you know, have you asked them why do they not feel comfortable?
Yes, yes. I reached out to some of them, and because most of them are students, they said the general answer is we have classes online, we do this online. So for Toastmasters, coming online again is still draining. So one person in particular told me that he prefers not to even come for the meeting and than to just come online for something again. And I really didn't know how to reply the person. I just told him that I understand and it will take a while to get used to because it's the new normal. So it's fine. He can just take his time when he's comfortable and he feels like he wants to come online for the meeting. It's fine. Because I really didn't know what to say to him.
Well, I mean, if that was me, what I would have said to him is the fact that this is not forever, first of all, and secondly, why would you want to not continue your Toastmasters educational diet, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when the pandemic is over? You've lost time that could have been spent investing in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, if he shows up, he doesn't have to participate. Just show up. That's half the battle. Because once they're there, they're going to do something. Even if
they're going to be asked.
The
you just
thing
have
is,
to get them there.
Right, because they'll be asked to, would you like to take part in table topics?
That's right.
Exactly. Or what we did, we devised a means of making them engaged or people signing up for roles for the next meeting. So once you're present for a meeting now, for the next meeting, you're sure that you're going to have a role because we use a spinning wheel. So it makes you want to come back. So it makes you want to come back for the meeting. So that's what we've been doing. So some people, they don't come, or when they find out that the meeting is coming to an end, they just go out, and that's how it is. Well, we're trying.
Hey, you got to have a gimmick.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spin for your role. I like that. Michelle, we should do that.
I think so. It's a little easier than saying, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Oh no, this is the luck of the draw.
All righty, we're gonna move now to our third panelist, and this is Bibi Annief, and Bibi is a newly minted DTM. Yay! Ending June 30th, 2020. She is very happy. She has completed the old program and has embraced the new. That said, she would like to share her knowledge, experience with respect to the club success plan with you. In 2018-2019, when the president of art, when she was the president of art, the club gained president distinguished status. The same year as Area 52. The area gained president's distinguished status also. Thus, she feels she can share her positive experience today. Ladies and gentlemen, Bibi Annief.
Thank you so much, Elton, and good evening to all of you on the line. Thank you for coming out, taking time out from your evening to listen to us, to see how we can make the Distinguished Club program more enlightening for you to embrace and to work on. So I'm going to start. For those who have the Distinguished Club program, I'm going to look at page 19 to 24. And basically that is all about goals, as Michelle had alluded to in the beginning. In order to do that, I'm going to get you to learn to be intimate with the dashboard, to talk about your role and influence of your VP education. and also the role that your VP membership will play, and ultimately the responsibility of every club member, because it doesn't happen with one person. The club is successful because every single member plays a part. Now, where do we start? We're going to start at this point on talking about the DCP points, and I'm going to be using that acronym. So I'm going to clarify what it means. It means Distinguished Club Program, and your club success plan is measured on the DCP points, or the Distinguished Club Program. The Distinguished Club Program is also based on your membership. So that being said, how do you know what is your club membership? I would like Elton, if he can please share with you the first slide of the dashboard. And he's going to show up Good Time Toastmasters Club right now. If anybody's on the line from them, kudos to you. Elton is using you as a guinea pig. So Elton, can you please share that slide for me? The first slide, Elton. Thank you, Elton. So where do you start? Your starting point is always at the membership. So in order for your club to be successful, even if you have all 10 DCP points, you need to have the required membership. And the required membership is either 20 members or a net growth of 5 members. Just remember, 20 or a net growth of 5. Now, looking at what we have in front of us, the base is where you start from. This club, Good Time Toastmaster, has a base of 8. So they are required to have 13, where you see under membership, the 13, they're required to have 13 members in order to meet the requirements to be distinguished. And right now, at this point in time, they all have 10 members. So if they have 3 more members, they're in a good spot to be distinguished if they meet all the other requirements. Now, remember I said I was speaking about page 19 to 20, and this is where we have the starting point, where we start from, and we're going to be talking about the goals that you need to achieve. Now, you need to achieve these goals by June 30th, 2021. And the goals that you're going to need to achieve are 6 DCP points from your club success program. Your club success program, you need 6 DCP points. And out of those 6 DCP points, I will go through them with you. 4 members has to achieve level 1. Out of those 4 members, we need all 4 members to go ahead and achieve level 2. Or we can switch it around if some other members had completed level 1 the previous year and are now working. We only need 4 members to complete level 2, and that will give us 3 points. And then for the 4th point, we need 2 members to complete level 3. The 5th point, we need 1 member to complete level 4, 5, or DTM. And the 6th point will be the same, level 4, level 5, or DTM. Now, when I talk about levels, sorry, I am talking about our new program, education program, Pathways, the program that we all are embracing. We're all so excited. It's online. We can do everything online. We can work and we can do our program, our Toastmasters at the same time. Everything is online. So that is the educational goals that we need to work through. And who is going to oversight this program? Who is saying you think responsibility it is to oversight, and that enables the club to achieve these 6 DCP points? I'm sorry, is the club executive member who has the most challenging responsibility. That would be your VPA. That said, I like Elton. If Elton can put the 3rd slide up for me on the screen, I'm going to talk about not this slide, Edward, Elton, the next slide, please. Now this slide, if you had listened to Michelle earlier, and she alluded to a club having received 9 points and couldn't be distinguished just because they didn't have membership. I'm sorry to say these things happen even to the best of us, and we learn from that, okay? So I was the VP Ed of Royal Lunch and Learn at this time, where we had 8 GCP points, but we could not make that 20 membership in order to be distinguished. We could not make it because somehow or the other, we could not motivate the members to come out, or we could not turn guests into members. So existing members stopped coming, and we could not turn guests that came into members. So we are going to be talking about that today a bit. What are we going to do to ensure that we can be successful? That said, now let us talk about pathways. When the VP Ed is going through with the executive to create the club success plan, she needs to have a conversation with each and every member of the club to find out from them what is their goals for the coming year, because it is from their goals that she's going to help create and incorporate that into the club success program in order to create that 6 DCP point, or in order to obtain that 6 DCP point for the club. So she's going to look at what obstacles they have. She's going to look at how familiar they are with the program, and she's going to look at how can she possibly promote this program to each and every single person. Does she need to have a Pathways ambassador come in? Does she need to speak to the mentors and have the mentors work a little more with the members and so forth? So she, based on the feedback she gets from the members, she needs to take that and put that into an action plan in order to get the ball rolling to achieve those 6 DCP points. Now on the action plan, the first thing she's going to do is she's going to look at the members and see how many members can complete level 1. And she's going to put time frames towards that. Okay, we're going to start now, say in July, we're going to start. How many members are going to complete level 1? How many members are going to complete level 2? What resources she's going to do, and how she's going to get those members to at least keep with the plan. So she can get those members to keep with the plan by scheduling them for speeches. She does not leave it up to them to say when they want to speak. She schedules it and say, well, you're going to be speaking so and such times, and then like 2 weeks before, she will follow up with them. So she will do the same thing for level 2. So she can decide, okay, level 1 will be our focus for the first half of the year. Level 1 and 2 will be the focus. And then for the second half of the year will be level 3, 4, and 5. But then she can also decide she's going to work it concurrently throughout the whole year with every single member to see how she can get those members to improve. And she's going to document it on this club success plan. And she's going to share this club success plan with every single member. And whatever she has documented, she's going to start scheduling speeches for her members so that they know that they are accountable. They're in Toastmasters. They have told her these are their goals, these are their expectations, and she is just putting that into a plan for them so that they can keep track with their goals and expectations, right? So next thing I'm going to talk about is membership. For membership, really, what we're going to look at a membership, because membership is so important in order for us to meet our distinguished club program, in order to be a president distinguished or select distinguished or just distinguished, we need to determine how are we going to get members and new members, or turn guests into new members. Because if we are able to turn 8 guests into new members, we get 2 points right there for our Club Success Program or DCP points that will help us to be either distinguished or president distinguished. We will get those points, so then we will look at our membership. We will decide what will be our goal, how many new members we want. We can be very positive and say, yes, we will get 8 new members, and so we will get that 2 DCP points, and then we will put into effect our plan. How are we going to achieve that? How many open houses are we going to hold? When we have the open house, the guests, are we going to treat them well, give them that great first impression that Michelle alluded to? And is there someone in their members who's going to follow up with them to see whether we can help them, motivate them to see, yes, that this here Toastmasters is a good program for them? So we need to put all of that in plan. We need resources to help attract them. Toastmasters International has great resources. And at the same time, we need to put this in an action plan and put time frames against it. Okay, we'll hold 1 open house this time, and we need to at least attract 2 guests or 3 guests or 4 guests. We also need to encourage the existing members to bring new guests with them. Invite friends and family to come along, to embrace and see what Toastmaster has to offer and go from there. And in that way, we will get the membership. We will work very hard to get our membership. So I just want to remind you as I'm wrapping up here that you need to be intimate with the dashboard. Look at your dashboard. If you can't remember how to read the dashboard or so, any one of us is available. Reach out to someone. We're there to help you. If you haven't had a meeting with your VP Ed to talk about your goals, initiate it. Maybe your VP Head is very busy. Initiate it. For your membership to grow your membership, remember, it is not only the responsibility of the VP membership, it's everybody's responsibility. Volunteer to follow up with guests so that you can see how you can encourage them to be a member of Toastmasters. And with that, I'll hand it over back to Elton. Thank you so much, Elton.
Thank you so much, Bibi, for your quite informative and jam-packed with information this evening. I have a couple of questions I want to ask you, and then I'm going to open it up to the floor. So you mentioned the word starting point. So where can I find the current club performance review information so that I would know what my starting point is?
I spoke about that in the first thing. I look at the dashboard. We need to get intimate with the dashboard. Look at your dashboard. Mohan spoke how to access it and how to look at it, and go to the membership, the middle box where it says base, current members, and required. So your base, you need, in order to be distinguished, 5 plus your base, or 20, whichever is the better one. So whichever is the lower one. So if 5 plus the base is 13, that is what you require. If 5 plus the base is 25, you require just 20. That is where you get your information from.
Thank you very much. Let's see. So what type of information will you provide in the education action plan? What do you put in that
Everything
slide?
in your education action plan has to be positive. It has to be measurable goals. It has to be where you want to go. You want to be able to accomplish, meet all 6 DCP points, meet the requirements for those 6 DCP points. So you will populate your education plan with whatever you need to get there. Everything you need to get there would be in your plan. Example, how your time frames, which member is going to achieve it, and so forth. So just think about the big picture and then work that into your plan.
So what important information should be placed under membership goals and why? And who should be providing most of that information?
The information should be in on the club success plan for your goals is basically what you're going to achieve, what you want to achieve, who is going to achieve it, and by what time frame it is achievable. And you need to stick with that. So if you have 15 members and every 15 member is going to achieve something, it needs to be there on your plan. You don't have to tailor it so you only cover 6 goals. Like, or for example, you don't have to tailor it that you're only gonna get 4 people to complete level 1. Right. You can get 10 people to complete level 1. If you have 40 members, 10 can complete level 1. So it is important that you put that information because that is what you can reflect back and see how you're doing. Because your plan is a measure of how you're doing. So that is the information I would put there.
Okay, so what information should not be under your 2 sections?
Okay, so please guys, what information you don't put, nothing negative. It's all going to be positive. It's all going to be about your goals, how you're going to get there, how you're going to motivate people and what you want to achieve. I can't stress it enough because that is what helps your plan. That is what helps you get to where you're coming. And always in every meeting, please reiterate with your members that we have a club success plan and we need to have speeches on every meeting. Sometimes you can have 2 speeches, sometimes you can have 3 speeches. Always accommodate people's speeches because that will help make you succeed in your plan. So forever, you need to be positive plan, and every member has to be positive and passionate about the Toastmaster program, and of course, embrace pathways. Thank you, Elton.
Thank you very much. I think we have some a question in the chat. Is that true, Chris?
I don't see any questions in the chat, Elton.
Okay, I see where Rita is asking to please explain the word base.
She might have sent that to you directly.
Okay, so Bibi, can you explain the word base on the dashboard?
Thank you so much, Rita, for bringing that up. The base on the dashboard, base there on the dashboard refers to the number of members that you had on the end of the previous year. So when you look at Good Time Toastmaster, the base said 8. That means as of June 30th, 2020, Good Time Toastmasters Club has 8 members. And that's a very good question, Rita, because I know about it. I forgot to mention how you get your base. So that is what is your base. It's what you close with on the June 30th, 2020. That's your base.
Any other questions for Bibi, our newly minted DTM?
Yes, I have one question for Bibi.
Sure.
Hi. Please, do you have any strategy or any tactics on how we could turn guests to members? Anything we could use in helping at this point in time where everything is online?
Okay, so thanks for that question. It's a very good question, and I'm going to talk to you about my latest experience where I turned a guest into a member. She came as a guest and she said she was interested. And what I did, I reached out to her via email and I said to her, can I book with you a virtual coffee chat so we can talk about Toastmasters, how Toastmasters can meet your expectation. So I had that chat with her and then she said, okay, let me think about it. I will get back to you. And then I booked another follow-up chat, even though she didn't get back to me. I booked another follow-up chat and say, I've given you time to think about it. You've got some time to think about it. I am sure you must have questions for me. Can I book another follow-up coffee chat with you or another Zoom meeting? Normally I book WebEx with them, and so that we can chat and see, what are their obstacles? What is it that we need to overcome together? What is it you need to look at? Sometimes it's payments. For example, they want to do just 6 months payment instead of a whole year payment. You try to facilitate them. Well, yes, if you want to try us out for 6 months, yeah, come along, try us out, and then we go from there. So then on that second meeting, I also shared with her the link to the icebreaker part in Toastmaster. I said, here is the icebreaker. This link has valuable information for you. Go through it, have a read of it, and tell me if you have any question. Is this something that you're looking for? So I gave her all the information and I gave her my number and I said, come back to me anytime. I'm available for you. I will fit you in my calendar anytime. So you make it to them that it's their choice, but at the same time, you're there to help them to answer every one of their questions. That's the choice, or that's the strategy I use. And yes, she joined us. We got one new member in our club.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Would anyone else like to ask a question? Bibi, a question? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Can you share with us like how what kind of information it would be useful for us to send to the new new guest or new member?
What information you would send to them?
Yeah.
From an education perspective, as I mentioned before, I would send them the link to the icebreaker. Normally, I send them the link to the icebreaker and say, the icebreaker is a speech all about yourself, right? If you follow this link, you spend at least 10 to 15 minutes. It will give you an expectation of what is required. You will see someone presenting their icebreaker. You will see all the questions that Toastmaster expect you to follow in your guidelines in order to complete your icebreaker. Basically, that is what I send. Basically, I would send a new member, a guest from an education perspective, but I don't send that right away to them. I have a conversation with them to determine what it is they are looking for from Toastmaster. So the first thing I would do, I will ask them to say, can I have a conversation with you? Can I book before you could book a coffee chat with them and see how can I help them? I know when I was area director, I always used to have coffee chats with the president and the VP education to find out how they were doing. The same thing you can do with your guests, reach out to your guests. I know it's time consuming, but that's the way how you will drive guests to become members.
I have another question about, as I know that we have a survey which named Member Interest Survey. Can I use it to get a survey from member and then to see how they're going in the next year with the club? So, and then based on that, we can set up the success plan.
Can you repeat that? Sorry, I missed.
Okay, that was me, Bibi. I sent the survey to Swan from my presentation. So what I can do is I can talk to you later on and figure out what exactly you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mohan. Appreciate that because I couldn't follow what she was asking. My apology. Yeah.
No problem.
Any more questions?
Okay.
Okay, the floor is all yours, Elton. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bibi, for being so generous with your time and those tips on helping clubs become distinguished. Our next panelist is Sandra Thompson, and she's been a Toastmaster since 2011. She is with the club named Ebonite, and affectionately, it's actually Club Ebony Toastmasters. And she has been the treasurer, president, SAA, VPE for 4.5 years. She has also been a club mentor. In fact, she's being a club mentor currently, and an area director currently, and she is self-employed. Her Toastmaster goal is to master pathways and complete level 3 by the end of the Toastmaster year 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Thompson.
Thank you, Elton. Good evening, everybody. And let's give a warm round of applause for Michelle, Mohan, and Bibi. You guys did a terrific job. Excellent, excellent. I am going to be answering or discussing four main points, or 6 points with the Distinguished Club program and the success plan. I'll tell you what my questions are to just give you a little bit of context. The first question that I'll be answering is, how important is it for the club officers to be trained? I'm going to start off by saying it seems impossible until it gets done. And every year we go through the same process of training and not training, and why do we need to do this? A few reasons why it's very important is that in having the trained officers, it helps to enhance the quality of your club, without a doubt. It also helps to develop strong leaders in the club and for you to have a successful team. It helps the club to thrive in the Distinguished program, which my fellow panelists has already pointed out. And it helps to contribute to the fulfillment of your club mission and the Toastmasters mission as well. The respect, service, integrity, and excellence. In doing so, it also helps to provide knowledge and tools for the club officers in order for them to fulfill their roles. It also helps to enhance the meetings and make the meetings more exciting. And it can, and it will, and it does actually help to increase membership. When you have a successful club, it contributes to your distinguished club membership, but it also helps to provide with the area and your district being distinguished. Now, some of these ideas, I suppose, might sound sort of, how does that all work? How does it all work? When you go to purchase anything, or if you're looking to buy a house, you're looking to buy a car, you're looking to buy a face cream, more than likely you're going to purchase that product or service from the person that sounds or appears to have the most knowledge, the person that is organized, and they're able to assist you with anything that you've requested. And this is the way that I think of filling out and working with the Distinguished program. Along with you've got all the tools, and as I said earlier, everything seems impossible and it seems overwhelming, and it's an incredible task. But once you break it down, as Michelle pointed out, when you take it a piece by piece, and it actually comes together, you see the plan coming together, and you sort of see how, wow, look at how great this house is coming along. I'm adding this, I'm adding that. You have your foundation, and then you can build upon it. How do you get people, your executive members, to go to training? How do you inspire them? A few ideas that I came up with was, excuse me one second here. I just need to, I think we have to stop and think about being flexible, and we have to be respectful of people's time now, especially with the platform that we're using, and everybody's working online and everybody is all computer and zoomed out. So we need to have a little bit of flexibility, and I believe that the district has provided more than enough flexibility in terms of the training and when the training is done, the different times. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of coming along and doing that would be to make the sessions valuable. Just like this session is valuable, you're going to walk away with something. You're going to have something that you need to think about, something that you can go back and say, let me research this, let me take a look, let me see what's going on here, and let me ensure that I understand it. So make it valuable. You don't want people to feel as though they're wasting their time. You want to make it engaging. You want to make it interactive as you possibly can. And you want the members to understand that there is an added benefit to going to training. Personal story, I worked in the personal service industry. I worked in a hair salon for a very long time. And the majority of my career was working with people. My administrative skills were limited, along with other skills that would come under working in an office because I hadn't worked in an office. When I became a Toastmaster and I became a member of the executive and I went for training, it forced me to learn all of these other skills. A, I didn't know that I had. B, I was surprised I had them because I was just so accustomed to working with people. I was that person, I am that person, I could literally charm the skin off of a snake. However, I didn't really know how to use Windows. I didn't know how to create charts. I didn't know how to do any of that. And that's how it was an added value to me as a Toastmaster and being on the executive. So that's a really important thing to remember. And that's something that you're walking away with. You also want to find out what people want to learn. This is really important. You really want to find out what people want to learn. And you also want to keep the training as relevant as possible. So because of the fact that we're using all these platforms, it's important for as Toastmasters for us to learn how to use these platforms. So as Marcy was asking the questions about keeping the visitors engaged, when you understand how to use the platforms, I believe that you have more flexibility because you have more choice and you're able to do different things to keep even your members engaged. Another example would be if you're doing a treasurer's training, it's really important for you to understand that to have your treasurer learn how to use Excel, because not all of them have those skills and it could be something that's easier for them to use Excel to keep their book, to keep the club's finances in order. And this is what I mean when I say you want to keep it relevant, you want to keep it exciting. You don't want somebody who was a treasurer 4 years ago to come to treasurer's training next year for round 2 and they're learning the same thing. That doesn't make any sense. And why would you want to go? What are you going to learn? What do you think you're going to walk away with? So you want to try and keep everything as relevant as possible. And also you want to stress the usefulness of the training. And as I had mentioned before, you're talking about professionalism and It's good for your professional career, it's good for your personal life, and it also helps to boost your confidence and your self-esteem. Because not only are you learning how to articulate and to speak well, you are also being informed as to how to use a particular program, and you're able to, you could train somebody else, you could show somebody else how to use it. The other thing that I want to point out is when we're doing training, it is something that I'm going to put in another little personal thing here. I believe the training should be done in tiers. So as an example, in round one, you all have, everybody's new on the executive, or they're in new roles, or they're continuing, but most of the people are new. You have training that is completely basic, and it covers all of the necessary ideas that they need, the necessary protocols that's needed. For round two, I believe that should be broken up. So if you have somebody who's only on the executive for 6 months, and then you have a new person, they can go to another basic training. If somebody is continuing in that role, why should they go ahead and learn the same thing that was done in round one? Let them go and do something different. Let it be expansive, so that there's so many things to learn in all of the roles. So many different things. So as an example, the Sergeant at Arms, for an example, what does the Sergeant at Arms do now? There's no room to set up. There are no agendas to distribute. There are no pens to put out. There are no chairs to straighten. There are no banners to put up. What are they going to do? Anybody? Who knows? So if nobody has an answer, we can then alter the training. Perhaps the Sergeant at Arms would be the one that will learn how to use the platform, master the platform that your club is using for your meetings. That's what I mean by just, you know, we have to be creative with our training, to let people want to go, to let them go, oh my gosh, that training was amazing, I really want to go back, and so forth and such. The role of VP of Education, having 2 trainings a year, I do not believe it's sufficient. We need to expand on it so that we can do more. So you could do a level 1, a level 2, and so forth and such. Now, the other thing that I would like to, other area that I would like to discuss would be what charts would be used for us to keep track of all of our goals and the performances. And I believe Bibi explained that really well, and she covered it all. So I was looking to use a chart similar to that, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time and go over it again. But that's a very good chart to use on the dashboard, to make sure that you are aware of where the club is and what the club is doing and how well the club is doing, to keep on track with your plan. The other question that I'm going to be answering is about, when do you start asking for dues for the club? Some clubs, some treasurers, I spoke to a couple of treasurers to get their opinion about it. And when I was a treasurer, I didn't like asking for money. I don't like asking for money at all. In any case, when we're going to do it, some of them, it was sort of, there was like a 50-50. Some of the treasurers said to me, they would prefer, they don't like to ask too far in advance. So they don't like to ask a month in advance or anything like that. They prefer to just wait until now, or just at the end of August to sort of say, okay, dues may be coming up, depending on the club. And then in September, you go ahead and you ask for the dues, and then you mention the payments gently in the meetings during club business, give a reminder, and then you send out a reminder as well. Some clubs will take half of the payment for the year, and some will do it in full. That would be totally up to you and what your level of comfort is and what your executive have agreed upon. Now, I do believe that I have covered everything. Quick. Thank you. Elton, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sandra. I think I want to first of all thank you for your passionate presentation. It's so full of passion. It's like you're right down there in the trenches, and you're just wanting to tell everyone exactly what you are experiencing. Before we open it up to the floor, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Like, what can you name? I should say, how are you going to inspire your club executives to attend club executive meetings? Some clubs find that to be quite difficult to get their club execs to attend. So how would you go about persuading them, I guess is the word, to attend the club exec meetings?
Well, I believe we can always throw in Toastmasters respect, integrity, service, and excellence to start off with. And I believe if you are a member of the executive, it is your responsibility to show up for a meeting. One of the things that could be done also would be to have a different executive chair the meeting. Let that person be responsible for the meeting. It doesn't always have to be the president of the club. Also, if you are having particular issues, or if there are topics that need to be covered within, if you're having, you'd like to discuss the education program as an example to start off with, and you're going to do your moments of truth, and you're going to do the success plan and everything, that's a great way to start off you're going to start off the first few meetings of the executive year will focus on that. Then you have the club visit, and I think if you flip everything around and you put the responsibility and the accountability on different executive members and let them chair the meeting, let them be the Toastmaster, let's say, let them come up with a theme for the evening, make it their responsibility. And if they're not being responsible in that way, I think you just have to pull them off to the side and have a little chat.
Well, okay. I don't think I would want to be pulled over and go through that little chat. But the other, how do you see? Okay, the club execs are a team.
Yes.
And they all work together, and they all should not say, okay, well, this is my square. I stay in that. I don't, come out and help anybody else do anything. My square is this. How do you see the VP PR and the VP membership working together?
Okay, so the one thing I will say, I can mention as well, I think in your club, you can have your own club bylaws. One of the bylaws that can be in your club, depending on the size of the club, would be to have an executive member be a member of the club for a particular period of time. That way you have an opportunity to see how responsible this person may be, how committed they may possibly be before they take on certain roles on the executive. So you want to have somebody who's going to be responsible, who's going to be accountable, being the VP of Ed as an example. I believe all of the executive members can and should definitely work together. The VP of PR and the VP of membership can work well together simply because they can come up with an actual plan, like a marketing plan, to help to get members and to entice guests to become members by making doing the proper promotions, making sure that the guest package is put together well, making sure that we have the proper information. Somebody follows up. Somebody's going to follow up with the guest, just as Bibi had mentioned how she followed up with her guest with the coffee. So I think those work very, very well together, and that's how it can work together. Always communicating.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions that from the floor that you would like to ask Sandra?
Yes, Sandra, this is Rita.
Hello, Rita.
Bibi and Michelle both spoke about the importance of having the first executive meeting when the year begins to make plans for the year for the individual members and for the clubs. What is your experience in terms of having those meetings? How soon do you have them? And what kinds of things are on your agenda in terms of goals for the year?
Personally, my experience from being on the executive with my club, my home club, we have generally worked well together. Our first meeting, we all know each other, so we have a strong foundation to begin with. Our first meeting generally just covers what you would like to accomplish. So the president would send out an email to sort of ask, what is it that you'd like to accomplish? How do you see yourself accomplishing? Like covering SMART goals. And we discuss them. We generally will use our success plan from the year before, because our club has been the president's distinguished for a number of years. So if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. We try to continue, but you're still adding a different spice to it, let's say a different ingredient, because we have a new president and we have a new executive. Generally speaking, there is cohesiveness with the goals of the club. So I don't know if I've answered your question fully, but I think fundamentally you have to have a good solid foundation, and nobody has egos. Nobody's trying to, I'm better than you and I want to do this and I want to do that. We all work together, and before we do anything in the club, we discuss it as an executive. So there's an open door policy. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you. You have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Does anyone else have a question?
Yes, I have a question for Sandra, please. So, is there a way you could tell me or help me understand how to, let me not use the word deal, or how to get the executives to pull their weight? Like, this is a new session, right? And in as much as I know that so many of us are new to these roles that we've been elected into, but I kind of find it hard to get two of my important role players, my VP education and VP membership. So the thing is, I've tried to have like meetings, and other executives have come online. So we've been able to have an agenda and try to work with the club success plan to see. But it's not possible for everything to work out if the vice president education and the vice president membership are not involved. So what can I do? How can I get them more engaged? Because I've tried to reach out to them personally, and it's obviously one excuse from the other. So I don't know.
That's a tricky question, Mercy. I will try to answer it for you. The VP of Education has to understand and realize that their role fundamentally is the club. And I don't mean it in a separate way. I mean it in a way that everything about Toastmasters is about education, learning, and growing. Perhaps if you've tried having a one-on-one with the person to sort of say, are they overwhelmed? Are they understanding what it is that they're doing? Do they understand the importance of what it is that they're doing? Do they need any kind of assistance with anything? Just to understand where they are at first, because I will tell you, and I say this with, not to, I had a really rough time when I first took on that role, when we were in the old program. And it was hard for me to ask for help because I didn't really know how to do it because of where I came from. And then after, I just said, you know what, I need help. And I got the assistance that I needed. And to this day, as I said, one of my goals is to continue to learn about pathways. It's a mountain of a job. I'm trying to think of a big, it's a copious job. And it needs strong shoulders. And I believe that perhaps if this person is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, along with the VP of membership, there isn't going to be a club. So I would probably try to speak to them privately to find out exactly where they are, if they feel overwhelmed, if they need any kind of assistance. If you need assistance with assisting them, there's lots of resources and there's lots of people, there's tons of people sitting right in front of you that would be more than willing to help. I'll be willing to help. Anybody, Elton, sorry, Elton, I'm volunteering you. But that's all I can, you can't make somebody do anything. And if they're not up to it, then perhaps, they can step back. And if they need help, then let's look for the help for both of them.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Can I just add to that, Sandra and Mercy? I'm the division director for Division D, and Mercy's club is in my division.
Yes.
Same thing with Swan. So I can speak with your club president. I can speak to your area director to come and assist you all and speak with your VP education, because VP education, as far as I know, is the biggest key in the whole organization.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That would be nice.
It's Bibi. Can I add to that, please?
Sure, Bibi.
Okay, so here is the trick I use, guys, and here's what I've done, is that I remember, and I'm sure Elton remember, is that I do the presentation on the promise. When we joined Toastmaster, we signed a form and we agreed to a Toastmaster promise. And on part of that promise say that I promise to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so. And what I do now with the agenda, I not only have the club mission, I have the promise on the agenda to say, hey, we promise to do this, so we expect you to keep that promise. And it's been working for me so far. So you can
that's very true. The promise of an officer is very important before you start your role.
Yeah. It's also important when you do the club officer orientation after they are elected, you have this nice orientation and you get them to promise that they will fulfill this role to the best of their ability. So that's the trick I use. Maybe you can try it, who knows?
All right, thank you, Bibi. I'll try that, the club officer's promise. Thank you.
I have a question related to the success plan. Because at Centennial, we have Speak Up Centennial and Voice of the Centennial, but we are at the stream the same. So do we need to have a different success plan, or we can do as one? Just one plan for both clubs?
It's two different clubs, so I would say two different success plan, because you got two sets of members. I know your members jump back and forth, but you won't be able to achieve your goals by members going back and forth. So you need to have two success plans.
And one more question, because this is the first time I do the success plan. So I to be honest, I don't know how to submit it, how to like make, how the template it should be.
You should have got the success plan with your club officer's handbook. What I can do is I can send you a copy, or I can ask your area director to send you a copy.
Thank you so much.
Send them a copy, everybody that registered a copy.
Yeah, I don't have a copy accessible at the moment, but maybe Elton can send it to them.
Yes, I do have a registration list, and so I can definitely send what information she would like to have.
I can send it to Swan, but the thing is, for the rest of the audience today, because I don't have their email addresses.
So what is it that she wants?
The club officer's handbook.
Oh, okay.
So the success plan is in the club officer's handbook, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I thought that was separate. I thought that was the.
Michelle, do you know where it is, Michelle?
In the club, I didn't think that was in the CLH book.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now, and I'll attach it.
Thanks, Michelle.
No problem. Bear with me. Here it is. No. I'll find a soft copy for you.
Is it still available in print, Michelle?
No.
No, everything is electronic now.
Soft copy now.
And plus, it's easier with it. I have to admit, in soft copy because once it's a PDF file, and so you can quickly search on the file to quickly find what it is you're looking for, as opposed to thumbing through the pages of the booklet.
Okay, I'm sending it now.
By the way, it's free.
Yeah.
And this way you can have it everywhere. You can have it on your hard drive. You can have it on your PDA, if that's what you normally carry to your club meetings. And in fact, every officer should read their section. It's about 2 pages each for each role. And so it takes you about less than 5 minutes to go through it, but it's really, really good stuff that you get to quickly learn about your role. And it's especially important when you're coming on board, because normally if you're new, you haven't gone to club officer training yet. So by reading those 2 pages, you kind of set yourself up so that when you do go to club officer training, you're able to form questions to your the person that's facilitating the session.
It's also a really good thing to share with your club members before you hold club elections, so that they know what they're getting themselves in for.
I was just going to add to that before the elections come around, it's also a good idea if you could get somebody to shadow the possible outgoing officers and to have just sort of real life experience to sort of see how to put an agenda together, how to create excitement in the club, whatever portfolio the person is interested in, let them shadow that person for at least a month or so to see if they really are interested and would be committed to it. And this is another reason why I go back to the idea of within your bylaw, if you create a bylaw saying that there are certain, as an example with the VP of Education, you wouldn't want somebody who's been in the club for 6 months and because the role is vacant to have them go in and be your VP of Education, because it's not fair to them. And you don't really know them and things like that. It's tough. So it's best, I think, for certain roles that you ensure that the person that's going to be doing it is actually responsible. because they can learn. You can learn anything, but you want to have somebody who is teachable and responsible.
This is why every officer, club officer, should have someone working with them. That is mentioned in club officer training. Find someone that you think would be eligible to take your role come June of at the end of that Toastmasters year. So by making sure, this is one of the president's responsibilities, is to make sure that there is a smooth transition. Therefore, the president should make sure that every club officer has someone that they're preparing for the role for next year. And this way, let's say the individual who is being prepared realizes that, whoa, you know what, this is not for me. That you would much rather know now or then, and then you can find someone else that may be that would like to find out what this role entails, and as opposed to you're in the middle of the first quarter of your Toastmaster year, and the person says, "I'm sorry, but you know this role is not for me."
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? They're waiting for you. All the panelists have their knives and forks out there waiting for you. Ask the question, any question.
Elton.
No personal questions.
I does not allow any questions.
Okay, so wow, no questions.
I think Arthur's got a question, Elton.
Pardon me?
No,
I think Arthur's got a question.
I don't have a question, but I have that thing I always make a comment to something like this kind of workshop where everybody rolls their eyes when I say that. So most of everyone in the panel today, I can see traditional educated DTMs. So when you say that you want the officers to go for training, one of the things that you can motivate them at the election time is to say, hey, it's also 1/6 of a pathways DTM. If you do the COT1, COT2, and the CSP. And the MOT will help with that. That's my 2 cents, and you can roll your eyes now.
No, I don't think so. No eye rolling. We don't allow that.
No, but it is true. You do. I mean, the story behind it is that everyone do their officer training. As you say, they go more than 100%. And when they come June next year, they're done. They get their distinguished. And then what? Well, there is that 4 years comfortable DTM that they can aim for. So why not? Why not tell everybody that this is a carrot in front of them? My 2 cents. I'll keep rolling your eyes. Yeah. Back to you, Elton.
Thank you. So if there aren't any other questions, are there any last words that our program quality directors would like to say before we wish everyone well?
I think they had to leave.
They left.
Okay. Well, in that case, then
Meeting.
oh, now wait a minute. Here comes Anita. This will be good. Anita.
She's muted.
Here I am.
So Anita, would you like to? Do you have any parting words for the participants before we close the meeting?
Of course. Yeah, I do have a few words to say, and I would like to thank everyone for being here tonight. And I know that you will take a lot from tonight's workshop and all the wise word of our panelists and all the questions. And of course, please focus on the big three, the moments of truth, the club success plan, and the distinguished club program. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either Elton or the panelists or myself and Chris. And thank you again.
All right. Any last words from any parting words from the panelists?
Have fun.
That's right. Have fun. We're here to have fun.
They're big goals, but have fun doing them, or else it's just murder on you.
And if Ralph Smedley was here today, he would have said, we learn best in moments of enjoyment.
Yes, he did. Okay, well, everyone, I want you to have a good night. Please remember, if you have any questions, to please ask any of the panelists. Our program quality directors are definitely sitting with open arms.
Of course.
And we'll wish you good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I just want to say thank you, Elton, for putting this together.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you,
it wasn't all me. The panelists all had their hand in it, especially Bibi and Michelle. And I don't know which one I should put first, but they were very direct in terms of how they wanted to see this handled. And I want to thank you very much.
Thank you, Elton. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, good night. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.